Attention, if anyone is out there, if anyone is listening, this is Mackenzie Merritt. The Merritt estate is under attack. Cleaners have breached the perimeter. They've brought enough fuel to burn this community to the ground.
I'm glad you could make it, Nat. Wouldn't miss one of your secret benefits for the world, Mac. What's the cause this time?
Free clinic in Brooklyn. They lost one of their grants last year, and we're trying to help make up the shortfall.
Why don't you just cut them a check? Take the tax break and call it a day. You can afford it.
That would solve the problem for this one clinic. But it doesn't change the policies that created the problem in the first place.
Oh, Eminem. You're adorable if you think that these politicians will stop austerity measures because they like your canapes.
It's not about the party, it's about the relationships forged at the party. It's amazing what you can get people to agree to if they see you as a person and not just another rich girl trying to build her brand.
You have to be in the room where it happens to influence what happens.
Exactly. And I can provide the room.
Well, it is one hell of a room. Roaring Twenties is a great theme. Some of these senators may have been original members of the club your grandfather started.
If I had that kind of leverage, I wouldn't have to throw a party.
Mackenzie and Natalya had been acquaintances since they were very young. Both having grown up in wealthy families, they were exposed to similar experiences and privileges. However, there is a very clear difference between Mackenzie and Natalya. Mackenzie strives to be more than just another rich kid. She aspires to create a positive impact on the world by driving significant causes that can bring meaningful change to the community. Yet despite their differences, they continue to stay in contact over the years.
Happy birthday.
Thanks.
Don't be sad, Eminem.
I'm not sad, Nat.
Really? You're not? You're so brave, Eminem. I mean, if both of my parents died in an awful accident, I'd be devastated.
How did your parents die, Nat?
What are you talking about? My parents aren't dead.
Oh, that's right. They just don't give a shit about you. That's why they never visit.
They never visit because they're busy. My father is a very important man, and my mother...
Is a drunk?
Happy birthday, Eminem. I hope you like the presents the lawyers bought for you.
Through thick and thin, they still bothered to remind each other that they were still there, even if it was just to berate them. Natalya seems to have a special place for Mackenzie. Perhaps it reminds her of where she came from. She sees her as an equal who just took a different path. But at the same time, Mackenzie has the potential to bring out the absolute worst in Natalya. So given what was about to happen in the future, she couldn't let her be this way forever. After the dollar flu was released and the subsequent fall of society, Mackenzie would convert her home, the Merritt estate, into a refugee camp.
Nice little setup you've got here, Eminem.
Thanks, Nat. Surprised you didn't send one of your henchmen to check up on us.
You don't send a stranger to check up on friends.
Agreed. So why are you here?
Eminem.
Mac.
I know we've had our differences in the past, but I would hope that after all this time, given the state of, well, everything, you could bury the hatchet.
That won't work with me, Nat. I know who you really are, and I'm not falling for whatever this scheme is.
I'm sorry you feel that way. I was just trying to help a friend. I'll see myself out.
I think that's best.
I really am quite impressed with everything you've built here. You were always a true philanthropist, putting the community above your own personal safety. I always admired that about you.
Even with the world at the brink of collapse, Mackenzie and Natalya's rocky relationship carries on. While Natalya attempts to, in her words, bury the hatchet, Mackenzie is more than aware of what Natalya is capable of, and that this suggestion has something more sinister behind it. However, this doesn't make Mackenzie completely heartless. She would still call her after she heard about what happened to her brother, Felix.
I just wanted to say sorry about Felix.
What do you know about Felix?
We just heard that division agents took him out in D.C.
Yes.
I know we haven't been on the best of terms, but I know what it's like to lose family. And I want you to know that no matter what happened with us in the past, I'm here if you want to talk.
That's very kind of you, but completely unnecessary. I'm fine.
You're not fine. Your brother was just killed. There's no way you're fine.
Stop worrying about me, Eminem. They were my orders. We knew the risk. This was inevitable. I'm fine.
What do you mean they were my orders? Did you have your brother killed?
You and your wild imagination.
Nat, did you have the division kill your brother?
You sound tired, Eminem. You should get some rest. Have a nice glass of sheep's milk tea. Let your community take care of you for once. I mean, what's the point in taking in all those strays if you don't let them take care of you every once in a while?
As well as Mackenzie thought she knew Natalya and what she was capable of, and that she was a very calculating and manipulative individual, it was this interaction that really opened her eyes to how dark Natalya really was. Natalya implied that she always knew Felix was going to die from this mission. In fact, she had planned on it. She is showing that she is not above sacrificing her own brother for the cause. Mackenzie knows how callous she can be, but Natalya simply brushes it aside and implies that Mackenzie is being dramatic. And then there is that last line from Natalya: "Let your community take care of you for once. I mean, what's the point in taking in all these strays if you don't let them take care of you every once in a while?" Could this be her way of saying that she herself took in a stray, Felix, and she used him to serve a purpose, which would ultimately lead to his death once she was done with him? However, it was also this moment when Natalya decided that she had seen enough. She was in a much different position to when they were younger. She is now the CEO and founder of the Black Tusk, the largest organized military that is still functioning in the country. Natalya wanted to show the power she now has, but rather than eliminating Mackenzie, she just wanted her to be put in her place.
I really appreciate you checking up on an old friend for me.
Sure thing. All I need is a name.
Mackenzie Merritt.
Like the heiress?
Yes.
She's running some sort of halfway house refugee camp out of the family's estate.
Yes, she is.
Sounds like you don't need me to check up on her.
I'd prefer if you'd personally confirm her current condition.
And what condition would you personally like me to confirm?
Compliant.
Copy that.
Hellfire, or Wright, is a high-ranking commander within the Cleaners. Yet he obviously has some sort of working relationship with Natalya, and as we would find out later on, Calvin McManus too. Given that he is a part of the Cleaners, it wasn't hard for him to convince his crew that the Merritt estate needed to be checked out, given that someone dropped the rumor of a potential outbreak on site. And the first two Cleaners that came to mind were the recently married lovebirds, Martinez and Johnson.
I promise to honor, obey, and respect our union from this day until my last.
I promise to honor, obey, and respect our union from this day until my last.
I will cherish the life we built together.
I will cherish the life we build together.
No matter what challenges we may face, we will face them together.
No matter what challenges we may face, we will face them together.
You are my light and my love.
You are my light and my love.
And I love you with the fire of 1,000 suns.
For all of my days and all of our nights, we will burn as one. The Merritt estate? Yeah, got a report of an outbreak at the community. I have to run this past the wife. Of course. Your team. I wouldn't want to do anything to upset that. We're solid. We're trying to get pregnant, so don't want to take any unnecessary risks. Hell, that's great news. Thanks. With Keener and his eclipse bullshit gone, it feels like it's the right time to get back to normal. Absolutely. But, you know, if we don't learn from the past, we are doomed to repeat it. You don't think we should be trying for a baby? I think you'd feel a lot better knowing you're bringing that kid into a healthier world. Check on this outbreak rumor with me, and then you and Martinez can go on that long overdue honeymoon.
Wright would approach fellow Cleaners Martinez and Johnson to ask them to assist with the cleansing of the Merritt estate. Uncertain at first, Wright would use the fact that they are trying for a baby to convince them that this last job would be necessary to provide a safe environment for their child, and that after they could take some time off and have that honeymoon they've been needing.
Who told Wright about the outbreak?
He didn't say.
Then how do we know his source is credible?
Wright never asks for anything. He's quiet and he gets the job done no matter what. He asks for backup on this one. I trusted his intel's good.
We need to be more careful.
I know. I told him we were trying, and he promised to give us some extra protection if we go along. Said he's got some kids that'll protect us.
Practice kids, like one of those robot dolls they give you in school so you know if you're ready to be a parent or not?
Something like that. But a lot more useful in case things go sideways.
Well, I'm not pregnant yet.
And right is right. We want to bring our baby into a healthier world. If there's a new bug going around the Meredith estate, we need to eradicate it before it spreads.
Right. Any updates?
Lovebirds are on board and ready for departure.
Excellent. Any provisions required for your coming out party?
Promise some extra protection than only a certain wealthy benefactor can provide access to.
Me or Cal?
Easier to use Cal's connections, less messy, and the Lovebirds will ask fewer questions.
Excellent. Rogues working with the cleaners, nothing new, nothing amiss, nothing to see here.
Exactly.
When you're done at the estate, bring her to me.
You sure? Would be easier to neutralize the threat.
Easier, sure. But I've never known you to step away from a challenge, right?
You must have been really close to go to all this trouble for your friend.
We go back a long way. A lot of history there.
While checking in with Wright, Natalya confirms that he has this op handled. This is perfect for Natalya, because it means that the Black Tusk aren't technically involved. It will be handled by the cleaners, with a little bit of support from Calvin McManus.
So where is this protection you promised us?
In the crate.
This better not be a trick.
Very funny. Shade Tech. What the hell am I supposed to do with that, huh? Congratulations, Agent.
Identification confirmed. Agent Johnson. Status rogue.
How the hell did you pull this one off, right?
Pays to have friends like Conley. God rest her soul.
Well, let's take these babies out for a test drive.
Mackenzie sends out a distress call. The cleaners are attacking the Merritt estate.
We are moving our people to a secure location at the estate, but we can't hold out forever. We need your help. Our security teams are trying to buy us time, but we have children and injured. We can't evacuate the estate. Please, if anyone can hear this, we need help. We can't fight the cleaners, we're just people. Agents, if you're out there, please, we need the division.
The first cell of division agents sent in have gone MIA, so Kelso has organised Agent QD Pistols and her merry group of men to follow up on the compound. After being dropped off outside the estate gardens, the agents search for a way onto the grounds to secure the site. In the gardens, the agents discover that the cleaners have a napalm mortar. On top of this, they're sporting a new type of armour and fueling system. It would appear that these cleaners are not just your run-of-the-mill street hostiles, they seem a little more elite. After destroying the turrets and clearing the area, the agents find a gate and move towards the estate. Running through the building, it would seem that the cleaners for some reason haven't started sanitizing the area like they usually would. But this is good. It means there is still time to find and save Mackenzie and the other civilians on site. Once in the courtyard, the agents come across a large abandoned fuel truck. However, as they move closer, it would seem that they've been led into a trap. The cleaners start spilling out from all directions. It's clear that their goal is to detonate the truck, killing the agents and completely clearing the front of the compound. However, once again, the agents proved too much. The front gate was now completely open for the agents to move in and enter the estate. Sweeping through, room to room, clearing all cleaners on site, the agents would soon hear Mackenzie over the earpieces. They have taken heavy losses, but Mackenzie has managed to move the remaining survivors to a safe room. After guiding the agents through a secret entrance, Mackenzie warns that someone is currently trying to break into the vault. Pushing forward, the agents would meet up with a prominent hunter or cleaner boss hybrid called Wright. While his entire body is covered in purple-coloured fire, labelled as Greek flames, which is powerful enough to melt any incoming projectiles, QD Pistol's agents made short work of him by manually activating the room sprinkler system, making him vulnerable to incoming fire. The agents then move on to the vault containing Mackenzie and the survivors. The vault door was damaged in the attack, so it wasn't able to be opened straight away, but Mackenzie is safe. So before breaking through and letting them free, there are still more cleaners on site that need to be dealt with. The agents push through to cleanse the estate of all the hostiles. Surfacing from the tunnels, they make their way out onto the lawn. Here, they are greeted by the Lovebirds, Martinez and Johnson. Armed with SHD gear, these two proved quite a challenge for the agents, and were probably the reason that the earlier cell of agents sent in were quickly overrun. But after focusing down their heavy spam of tech, the agents were eventually able to corner them in place. With good communication, healing, and targeted DPS, the lovebirds would soon be taken out. Once cleared, Kelso would organise a medical team to land on site, recover any survivors, and bring them back to Haven. So there are a few things to think about with this incursion. We have Wright, who is technically a cleaner and a part of their crew, but is obviously very close to Natalya, as well as Kelvin. His model in-game shows him as being more of a hunter than cleaner, so there has obviously been some previous collaboration there, and certainly opens up the realm of how far the hunter program spreads. Is he a hunter that is simply stationed as part of the cleaners? Is he a hunter at all? He sports their gear and look, but given how he was talking to Natalya, and the way he was referencing Kelvin, he seemed like someone who has more of an equal standing at a similar level to each of them. And saying that, is this how the hunter program works? They may get their direction from Kelvin, but perhaps they're meant to be left to run themselves autonomously. Regardless, Wright certainly has, or had, some sway. And this was shown by the SHD tech that he was able to get from Kelvin and just openly hand it out to the lovebirds. I'm not sure if Wright was special, or if this is how the hunters function, but this interaction has actually reinvigorated my interest behind the hunters. They are perhaps a little less predictable than I'd thought. On another point, Mackenzie and Natalya's relationship was certainly quite interesting. It would be fair to ask why Natalya didn't just order Mackenzie to be killed. But they grew up together, in a way. Frenemies, sort of. I think to Natalya, Mackenzie represents what she came from, and reminds her of what she was once like. There is no one else from her early past that is still alive, and I think she wants to hold on to the one little thing that reminds her of simpler times, something that will help her reflect on what she is doing now. Given that we rescued her, I hope we hear more from Mackenzie. She opens up a more human and vulnerable side of Natalya that we haven't really seen up until now. Something random that a few of you might find interesting is that Mackenzie Merritt is actually voiced by the Division narrative director herself, Lauren Stone. Honestly, if I hadn't been talking to her about it, I certainly wouldn't have picked it. Before I end this video, there are a couple of people I must thank. A Mr. Rogue Gold was actually kind enough to provide me with all of the comms from the incursion, long before I was actually able to play it. I wasn't really sure if I was ever going to be able to find a group around my end of the world who could assist, especially with my schedule. But he, no questions asked, smashed them out and sent them through to me very quickly, and I very much appreciate it, dude. And then there is QD Pistol and the Delta Force Australia clan. I feel like they kind of took me under their wing. While I would say that solo, I'm probably more than above average at this game, mainly due to stubbornness and time spent. When it comes to team play, I have the coordination of a wet paper towel. Fortunately, they seem to be able to work with this, and actually put the time into teaching me all of the mechanics. If you're on PC and can work around the Aussie time zone, jump into QD's Discord. They're straight up good people. I'll have a link in the description. I warn you though, I spend a bit of time in the voice comms distracting people while they're trying to run through. But they haven't kicked me out yet, so maybe they like the challenge. On that note, if you made it this far, you're obviously a sucker for punishment, but I thank you for watching. This took a lot longer to put together than I'd planned, but I'm glad I took the extra time. Hopefully you enjoyed it, and Extremis Malus, Extrema Remedia.